Hello again and welcome back down on the farm in Bjornholm for episode 19 with me, Mr. Sealy P. Right, I found that this tractor trailer combination wasn't very good, wasn't enjoying it. It was just swinging all over the place, even with the weight on. It was just too much weight for the tractor. So I decided to scrap that, drop that off, and we'll go for another idea. It's a pity because it's a good tractor. I do like the T8, and I've said before I do like the trailer, but I may have to consider other alternatives. So we're going to jump into the Tatra. And grab the cramp trailer. 59,000 litres. It's a big old trailer, but it will do the job a bit more effectively, I think. I think actually looking at both these fields, I think the sugar beet is probably ready for harvest, which means getting out a new harvester. Right, so last little bit of the seed that was left in both the harvesters, I'll get that out. And I'm thinking then, rather than going back, selling it with just that amount in, I think I might harvest field 27 next door as well. I said I might, so I think I will. Do the headlands on both ends and then get the combines running up and down. To be fair, it's not as big as the other fields. I'm glad we bought a second harvester, it's working out really well. Can get the fields done a lot quicker. I mean, it's still a slow process. But we can get them done a lot quicker. It'd probably be a lot, like I say, a lot quicker had I had another person on with me. Then we could have had one person running backwards and forwards with the trailer while the other people carry on harvesting and all that kind of thing. But by the by, it's still quicker than one harvester, and it's still quicker than one small harvester. So. Just tidy up all the odds and ends at this end. And then I can set it on its way. Right, he's emptied. We'll whiz him up the other end. So I'll get the New Holland up that end and do the same that end. And then get them both running on the field. So I'm thinking once this field's done then, that'll be it. Won't do any more harvesting for a few episodes. I'm thinking next I will get the forage harvester out and clear all this up, all the straw swaths. I'm going to chaff it and take it all down to the silage bays at the biogas plant. That's my next job. And then having just seen the sugar beets look like they're ready to be harvested. I say I'm not going to do another harvest, I mean like another wheat or barley type harvest. Getting the new harvester and going to the sugar beets. So that'll be something to look forward to. Okay, it's because I left him. It's gone back across again. Never mind. I will take control before I crash into the trees. Still can't go over that pipe. It's massive. Yeah, it's always difficult to move forward when you're up against a tree. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't moving. There you go. Right, hit a tree. Right, so he's off and running. So now jump back in this one. Clear up the awkward part of the headland that the worker can't actually do. Does leave a snaky straw swath, but I'm sure we'll manage collecting it. It is good to know though that whilst we are doing the harvesting and we've done a few different fields now, to be fair I haven't really gone back and fertilised or seeded any of the ones we've done. I did the canola harvest, I did a bit of a barley harvest, we put the sugar beet in, but I haven't really done much work on preparing the fields for a next crop. Right, I think one or both of them are going to be filling up, so as always over and collect. Another one emptied. I'll skip forward a little bit only because it's once you've seen them unload once or twice or multiple times it can get a little bit boring. They're quicker than the smaller harvesters to unload, but they still take a little bit of time. Good thing is it should be less trips backwards and forwards to sell, and the truck's designed for this trailer, so it will pull it at a faster speed. I think it goes at about 41 miles an hour, this one, and you won't get that swaying on the front wheels like you do with the tractors, so it should make life a lot easier transporting backwards and forwards to the freight yard. I was hoping he'd get turned around before he stopped. It's one of those little things which, again, without crop destruction mods and anything like that on, it really makes no difference if you drive on the crop or not in this, but I don't want to. It's not, you wouldn't do it in real life really. In certain circumstances when you absolutely have to, entering fields, moving equipment around, sometimes you might just have to go on, but just on the edges. You certainly wouldn't go tearing across the middle of a crop to load or unload or do anything else with a vehicle. So not going to be far off full on this trailer actually. background again to the New Holland. I seem to keep catching this New Holland every time it's on the way back down, so the pipe's facing the wrong way. It's annoying. Right, after a bit of jiggery pokery, we've unloaded. And thanks to the magic of skipping, we are at the freight yard to unload. It's not going to be massive amounts of money, even 59,000 litres. I'm sure it's only about $500 per tonne, so yeah, I mean you're going to be looking at 24, don't even know if it's 500, actually might even be less, but then we'll get the extra money for selling as well, so it works out alright in the end. I know I keep saying the same things over and over again. I need to stop. If you haven't watched one of these videos before, then it won't make any sense and I'm explaining. If you have seen them before, I apologise for repeating myself. Bit of a standoff there with the harvesters. What I'll often do when I'm running two harvesters on a field is the first one I'll run up the middle of the field and then see which way it turns at the top end of the field, and then I'll set the second one on whichever half the other harvester's not doing, so then they'll both harvest their own half of the field and you shouldn't get a situation where they come together at the end. That said, I completely forgot to do that this time. Never mind. Right, make the pipe arch and then I should be able to unload straight underneath it. I'll collect. They're going to unload, I'm going to collect. So there we go. That's that field also harvested. Good job for two fields. We also have a plan for what goes next. There's the forage harvesting, and then probably after that sugar beet harvesting. So fair old bit of that going on. I think once those two are done, when I've done the forage harvesting in so much as collecting it up off the floor for chaff, and then I've done the sugar beet harvesting, I think I might do an episode or two and do a bit of work on the fields, a bit of cultivating, a bit of fertilising, a bit of seeding, because I'm in danger of having lots of fields done to show lots of harvesting and us making money, and then having actually no fields ready or on the go to then be harvested afterwards. So I need to keep that cycle going. Right, he's unloaded, time to pack him away. You might notice I've left the aggro liner in the middle of the yard in disgust. No, it's not in disgust. But I have a plan for the aggro liner. Park up the Tatra. That worked really well actually. I think because the Tatra is like 6-wheel and it's got chunkier kind of land tyres on it, rather than just road tyres, it works better. Right, get these harvesters both away. Only downside, and I've said this before, is the headers are very big, and whilst they're on their own inbuilt trailers, which makes life a lot easier, they've got those horrible swivelling front axles, so reversing them's a nightmare, so putting them in the barn next to you becomes almost impossible. So I'm just going to park them up as straight as I can, which probably isn't going to end up being particularly straight. Nope. Out here on this flat bit of yard, there's a bit of space there, so I might as well stick them there. And then stick the harvester in the barn, where it'll be nice and safe and secure until the next time it's needed. Which, actually, to be fair, might not be for a few episodes now. After a brisk walk across the grass, I will now put the case away. Do the same thing, stick the header next to it, and then stick it in the barn. This one might be, even with that header folded, the pipe folded, that's still a large unit, isn't it? So we'll back it into the barn, see how far back we go. I don't want to smack that pipe into the back of the barn. I was just watching a first look video by Daggerwin on not Farming Simulator. My mind's gone blank. I was only just watching it. Oh, that's terrible, isn't it? Farm Expert 2017. The graphics don't look as good, but there's a lot of other features on there, damage to vehicles and wear and tear, and there's a workshop where you have to take it back and do repairs and change tyres and all that kind of thing. It looks very, very in depth. There's some good like 3D texturing for ploughing and that kind of stuff. As far as I'm aware though, it's only PC. But it was just interesting having the vehicle damage and having to repair it and stuff like that. Be a nice sort of feature to have. Right, the Rostzel Mash forage harvester. Going to go and hook it up to the aggro liner. And off we go. Yep, those sugar beets definitely doing. I, like a lot of people, have my plant withering turned off. It's just, I don't know. But even with the plant growth on slow sometimes, you just can't keep up with them, especially if you grow your field, your farm, and you've got lots of fields. They get to the point where they're ripe to withered so quickly you can't get round your fields. You'd have to be playing this game constantly to keep up with it. You know, it's hard. On multiplayer, that kind of thing, it would probably work really, really well, because it would force you to have to do your fields in the orders they were seeded in and they've grown in and that kind of thing, which I suppose for a multiplayer experience it probably works very well, but on your own, plant withering, it's too much. So I bet you're all thinking I was going to go down and use this for doing the forage harvesting, the chaff collecting. Not so. I had another idea. I did mention this a few episodes back, I think. So we'll see what's going to happen next. Right, that's that gone. And the trusty Rostzel Mash is also leaving us. And I've just suddenly realised I can't get the other header down here. I will have to sell the other header online. Yes. Whoops. Never mind. So, now then. No forage harvester. And I've got the trailer for the truck, for the Tatra. And I do have the chaff trailer as well, which I don't suppose I'm going to use very often anymore, so I might have to get rid of that too. So, the Crone Big X is here. I'm definitely needing that for this episode. And as I mentioned before, the corn header is a 10.5 metre header. So if I'm going to do any more silage harvesting on corn, maize crops, I need that big header. One of the sole reasons I've done it, because the header on the Rostzel Mash and even on the New Holland are really narrow. It'll be much quicker. And I've also gone for 2 Flegels. I've mentioned this before, and if you watched my how-to top tip videos, there was one on trailers, daisy chains, and land trains. You can daisy chain them, stick them both together, and give yourself a combined capacity of 64,000 litres. The good thing with the forage harvesters, all of them, but this one as well, that it will chuck into one trailer, then it will adjust the nozzle, it will chuck into the second trailer. So it will fill both of those trailers to 64,000 and it will pull them fine. If you put a third trailer on, it won't feed into a third trailer. It hasn't got the reach. So, as an effective combination, it actually works really, really well. So, the whole time I was doing those fields and thinking, I can bring down the Rostral mash, I can bring it down with the chaff trailer, and then I thought, yeah, but if I do then want to go on to do another silage harvest on the maize field, the header's just not big enough. I do need the crone. I'll be honest with you, I did consider buying the crone header to put on the Rostral mash. And again, I don't know if I mentioned this before, I might well have done. If I'm repeating myself, I do apologise. It doesn't work, it drags on the floor for some reason, and when you try and drive, it catches on the ground. It's I don't know, different direction, the actual attachment point is a different angle, so it just doesn't sit right. So, rather than having two forage harvesters, which would be ridiculous, one had to go, unfortunately, and it was the Rostral mash. So, got the crone. They do make some big machinery, the crones. I suppose having the word big on there probably does help. But yeah, some really good harvesting equipment. So, another big purchase brings our money right the way down again. Any more big purchases, I'm going to have to sell some more silage. But that's the beauty of having the silage sitting there. If you do need it, it's there if you do. You can always just sell a few bits and bobs. And rather than getting rid of equipment, you can do that. But obviously keeping two forage harvesters would be ridiculous. There's just no point. And also just thinking about it, that chaff trailer I've got up in the yard that I do like so much won't hook up to this forage harvester, so that trailer will also have to go. But again, not the end of the world. Like I say, instead of a bit of chaff, I can always replace with something else. So if I'm doing multiplayer, I'm doing any ones where I just need a smaller trailer for the tractors, I might just have a smaller trailer on hand. But anyway, picks up well. Like I said before, when I did the forage harvester episode on the how-to and top tips, it's like a big hoover, this attachment, and they will turn everything into chaff. So whether you're picking up like this, whether you're doing a whole crop harvest with like the big mower header, which will cut into everything, or whether you're doing a silage harvest on maize, it will go through that forage harvester and it turns it all into chaff. It chops everything to bits, throws it in the back, turns it into chaff. It's always a sort of popular misconception that when you put that kind of mower header on, that if you cut grass, it will be grass that goes in the back. It's not. It will make chaff no matter what. And chaff can only really be used for silage. A lot of people do the whole crop harvests a lot, and people like seeing the whole crop harvest being done, and I'll probably buy that header as well, and I'll do a whole crop harvest at some point. To me, I can't see the logic, only because if you do the harvest normally and you get the seed or whatever it is from that particular crop, you can sell that seed or that particular crop. You can then come along, especially when you've done wheat or barley, and collect up the straw swath afterwards, and then get the money for the seed, and then you still get to do this. I get it with canola, it doesn't leave a straw swath, that's not going to work. And the corn as well, if you do a corn crop, maize crop, it doesn't leave a straw swath. So these are the two ways of doing it. But the whole crop harvester seems a bit mad to me. Ploughing through a canola crop is worth quite a bit, or a wheat or a barley crop. But anyway, that's my musings aside. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Got the field finished, got the first bit of the forage harvesting done. Next episode I'll finish the forage harvesting, then we'll move on to sugar beet. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching.